Okay, so this is the Daf for May 1st, 2025. We're in Daf 23 of Makkot. So here we go. We're almost done. This one and the next one. I don't know if I will do a full 24. I just might do Amud Aleph and leave Amud Beit for Siyum. There's some guys that we want to do that with locally, and we're trying to nail down a date. So I apologize if I put that off. So here we go. The Gemara says, the Mishnah teaches that the attendant rips the garments of the person about to be flogged. The Gemara explains, what is the reason for this? It is due to the verse, 40 he shall flog him, etc. And your brother shall be debased before you. Deuteronomy 25 verse 3. As tearing his garments debases him. Rav Sheshet says in the name of Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah, from where is it derived with regard to the strap used for flogging that it is a strap from the hide of a calf? It is as it is written, 40 he shall flog him, and juxtaposed to it is written, you shall not muzzle an ox in its threshing, Deuteronomy 25 verse 4, indicating that the strap is from the hide of an ox. And Rav Sheshet says in the name of Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah, from where is it derived with regard to a Yavama, who happened before a Yavam afflicted with boils. The one does not compel her to enter into that Levirate marriage. It is derived from a verse, as it is written, you shall not muzzle an ox in its threshing, and juxtaposed to it is written, when brothers dwell together, Deuteronomy 25, verse 5, which is the passage dealing with Levirate marriage. The Yavama is not muzzled, as it were, when she states that she does not want to enter into Levirate marriage with him. So Rav Sheshet says in the name of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, concerning anyone who treats the festivals with contempt, it is as though he is worshiping idols, as it is written, molten gods you shall not make for yourselves, Exodus 34:17. And juxtaposed to it is written, the festival of Passover you shall observe, Exodus 34:18. Rav Sheshet says in the name of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, concerning anyone who speaks malicious speech, and anyone who testifies a false testament, it is fit to throw him to the dogs, as it is written, to the dog you shall cast it, Exodus 22:30. And juxtaposed to it is written, you shall not accept lo tisa, a false report. Do not join with the wicked to be a false witness. Exodus 23, verse 1. In addition to prohibitions against false testimony, against accepting malicious speech, Rav Sheshet also reads into the verse the meaning, you shall not relate lo tasi, a false report. The Mishnah teaches, and two straps go up and down, the doubled strap of calf hide. The sage taught, and they are straps of a donkey hide, as a certain Galilean interpreted before Rav Chisda. It is written, quote, the ox knows its owner, and the donkey its master's trough, but Israel does not know, my people does not consider, Isaiah 1:13. Verse 3. The Holy One, blessed be he, says, let the one who recognizes its master's trough, an ox and donkey, come in exact retribution through lashes with a strap and a donkey of an ox and a donkey hide for one who does not recognize his master's trough and performs transgressions. So the Mishnah teaches the length of its handle is 1 handbreadth, and the width of the straps is 1 handbreadth, and the strap must be long enough so that its end reaches the top of his abdomen. Abaye said, conclude from it that each and every one we craft the strap according to the size of their back. Rava said to him, if so, there will be numerous straps and cord for them. Rava said, it has loops. When the attendant wants, he ties the loops to shorten the strap, and when the attendant wants, he loosens the loops to lengthen the strap. The length of the strap can be adjusted to correspond to the height of the person being flogged. The Mishnah teaches, one flogs him with 1/3 of the lashes from the front of him, and 2 1/3 portions from behind him. The Gemara asks, from where are these matters derived? And this is because, like, when they give lashes, they give it in sets of 3. It has to be a number divisible by 3. And then they say the last one, if it's like 40, should go between the shoulders. So, but anyway. So from where are these matters derived? Rav Kahana said, it is derived from a verse, as the verse states, and the judge shall cause him to lie down and strike him before him in accordance with his wickedness, by number, Deuteronomy 25, verse 2, indicating that the attendant strikes him in accordance with one portion of wickedness from the front of him and two portions of the wickedness from behind him. And the Mishnah teaches, and he does not flog him when the one receiving lashes is standing, nor when he is sitting. Rather, he flogs him when he is hunched, as it is stated, and the judge shall cause him to lie down. Rav Chisda says, the Rabbi Yochanan says, from where is it derived with regard to the strap that it is doubled? It is derived from a verse, as it is stated, and he shall cause him to lie down, which is interpreted based on the similar Aramaic root, ein, pe, meaning double. So, vihip below, and then the root is ein, pe. Okay. The Gemara asks, but doesn't he require that the verse for the fundamental halacha itself, as the Mishnah teaches, he flogs him when he is hunched? The Gemara answers, if so, let the verse write, shall bend him. What is the meaning of shall cause him to lie down? Conclude two conclusions from it. The halacha that the person being flogged must be hunched, and the allusion to the doubling of the strap. The Mishnah teaches, and the attendant flogging the one receiving lashes flogs him with one hand with all his strength. The sages taught, for the administration of lashes, the court appoints only attendants who are lacking in strength and are exceedingly knowledgeable in Torah. Rabbi Yehuda says, the court may appoint even those who are lacking in knowledge and are exceedingly strong. Rava said, it is reasonable to rule in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, as it is written, 40 he shall flog him, he shall not exceed, lest he change to beat him. Deuteronomy 25, verse 3. He explains, granted, if you say that even people lacking in halakhic knowledge are appointed, that is why it is necessary to warn him not to add lashes. But if you say only people who are exceedingly knowledgeable are appointed, does the Torah need to warn the attendant? Apparently, even a person lacking in knowledge can be appointed as an attendant. And according to the rabbis, that is no proof, as there is an expression that one implores only one who is already implored. In other words, only one who is already cognizant of halakha can be effectively warned to observe it. It is taught, when the attendant raises his strap to administer the lashes, he raises it with both hands, and when he flogs the one who receives lashes, he flogs with one hand, so that the lashes will come from him in a deliberate manner. The Mishnah teaches, and the court crier recites the verse beginning, quote, if you do not observe to perform, as well as other verses. The sages taught, the most prominent of the judges recites the verses, the second most prominent judge counts the lashes, and the third most prominent says to the attendant, strike him. When the lashes are numerous, the one reciting the verses extends his recitation, and when the lashes are few, he curtails his recitation by reciting it further. In both cases, he does so to coordinate the recitation of the duration of the lashes. The Gemara asks, but didn't we learn in the Mishnah, and then he returns to the beginning of the first verse, indicating that one could read the passage several times. The Gemara answers, the mitzvah is to precisely coordinate recitation of the verses with the flogging, and if he did not precisely coordinate between them, and he completed the recitation of the verses before completing the lashes, he returns to the beginning of the first verse. The Gemara cites another baraita with regard to the number of lashes. The sages taught from the verse, he shall not exceed, lest he continue to beat him beyond these, a great flogging. Deuteronomy 25, verse 3. I have derived only a prohibition with regard to great flogging. For where do we derive that even a minimal excessive flogging is prohibited? I derive it from the verse that states, he shall not exceed at all. The Gemara asks, if so, why must the verse state a great flogging? This teaches that the initial lashes must be administered as a great flogging with all of the attendant strength. The Mishnah teaches, if the one being flogged sullies himself with excrement or urine, he is exempt from further lashes. Rabbi Yehuda says, man is exempted with excrement, and the woman is exempted even with urine. The sages taught in a baraita, for both a man and a woman, they are exempted if they sully themselves with excrement, but not if they do so with urine. This is the statement of Rabbi Meir, which is not the majority. Rabbi Yehuda says, the man with excrement and the woman even with urine. And the rabbis say, both a man and a woman are exempt from further lashes, whether they are sullied themselves with excrement or urine. The Gemara asks with regard to the opinion attributed to Rabbi Yehuda, but isn't it taught in a baraita that Rabbi Yehuda says both a man and a woman are exempted with excrement, indicating that Rabbi Yehuda holds that a woman is not exempted with urine? Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak said, there is no contradiction. That baraita is merely stating that according to Rabbi Yehuda, both are equal with regard to excrement. That does not mean that Rabbi Yehuda holds that a woman is not exempted with urine. Shmuel says, if they bound him to be flogged and fled from the court, he is exempt. The Gemara raises an objection from a Braita. If he was debased with excrement, whether during the first lash or during the second lash, the court exempts him. But in a case where the strap was severed during the course of the flogging, if this occurred during the second lash, they exempt him. But if it happened during the first lash, they do not exempt him. Why is he not exempted during the first lash? Let this status be like one who fled from the court before the flogging began, in which case he is exempt. The Gemara answers, there in that case he fled from the court, and he is not compelled to return. Here he did not flee, and therefore he is not exempted. He is not exempted without being flogged. The sages taught, if they assessed concerning him that when he is flogged he will be debased with excrement, they exempt him, as the court does not administer a punishment that will lead to debasing the one being flogged beyond the shame generated by the lashes themselves. But if they assessed concerning him that it is only when he will leave the court that he will be debased with excrement, they flog him. Moreover, even if he was debased initially, before any lashes were administered, they nevertheless flog him, as it is stated, and strike him, and your brother shall be debased. Deuteronomy 25, verse 2 through 3, indicating that the reference is to one debased as a result of lashes, and not to one who was already debased in court prior to being flogged. The Mishnah says, all those liable to receive karet who were flogged are exempted from their punishment of karet, as it is stated, and your brother shall be debased before your eyes. Deuteronomy 25, verse 3, indicating once he is flogged, he is as your brother, as his sin has been atoned, and he is no longer excised from the Jewish people. This is the statement of Rabbi Hananiah ben Gamliel. And Rabbi Hananiah ben Gamliel says, if for one who performs one transgression his soul is taken for it, as one soul can be uprooted from the world for one transgression, for one who performs a single mitzvah, it is all the more so the case that his soul will be given to him, as the reward for performing mitzvot is greater than the punishment for performing transgressions. Rabbi Shimon says it is derived from its own place in the Torah, as it is stated at the conclusion of the passage discussing intercourse with forbidden relatives, which is punishable with karet. And the souls that perform them shall be excised, Leviticus 18:29. And it states toward the beginning of that chapter that a person shall perform and live by them, Leviticus 18, verse 5. It is inferred that with regard to one who sits and did not perform a transgression, God gives him a reward like that received by one who performs a mitzvah. Rabbi Shimon bar Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi says that, as the verse states, only be steadfast and not eat the blood, as the blood is the soul, Deuteronomy 12:23. It can be derived a fortiori, and if with regard to the blood, which a person's soul loathes, one who abstains from its consumption receives a reward for that action, as it is written in a subsequent verse, you shall not eat it, so that it shall be good for you and for your children after you, Deuteronomy 12:25. Then concerning robbery and intercourse with forbidden relatives, which a person's soul desires and covets, one who abstains from their performance and overcomes his inclination, all the more so that he and his descendants and the descendants of his descendants will end all generations, to the end of all generations will merit a reward. Rabbi Hanina ben Akashia says, the Holy One, blessed be he, sought to confer merit upon the Jewish people. Therefore he increased for them Torah and mitzvot, as each mitzvah increases merit. As it is stated, it pleased the Lord for the sake of his righteousness to make the Torah great and glorious, Isaiah 42:21. God sought to make the Torah great and glorious by means of the proliferation of mitzvot. And yes, the 613 paths to reward. Someone should write a book, title it like that. Let's see here. Okay. Back to the Gemara. The Gemara says, Rabbi Yochanan says, Rabbi Hananiah ben Gamliel's colleagues are in disagreement with him and hold that lashes do not accept the sinner from karet. Rav Ada bar Ahava said that this is so, as they say in the school of Rav, that we learned in a Mishnah, Megillah 7b, the difference between Shabbat and Yom Kippur with regard to the labor prohibited on those days is only that in this case, Shabbat, its intentional desecration is punishable by human hands. as he is stoned by a court based on the testimony of witnesses who forewarned the transgressor. And in that case, Yom Kippur, its intentional desecration is punishable at the hand of God with karet. And if the statement of Rabbi Hananiah ben Gamliel is so, in both this case, Shabbat, and in that case, Yom Kippur, the punishment would be by human hands. Apparently, the Tana of the Mishnah, the rabbis, disagrees with Rabbi Hananiah ben Gamliel. So Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak says there is no proof from here that Rabbi Hananiah ben Gamliel's colleagues disagree with him, as in accordance with whose opinion is this Mishnah taught. It is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yitzchak, who says there are no lashes in cases of those liable to receive karet. As it is taught in a Braita that Rabbi Yitzchak says all those liable to receive karet in cases of forbidden relations were included in the principle. For whoever shall commit any of these abominations, even the people who commit them shall be cut off from among their people. Leviticus 18:29. And why was karet in the case of relations with one's sister excluded from this verse and mentioned independently? Leviticus chapter 20, verse 17. It is to sentence one who transgresses a prohibition punishable with karet to be punished with karet alone and not with lashes. Our sages disagree with Rabbi Yitzchak. Rav Ashi said, even if you say that the Mishnah is in accordance with the opinion of the rabbis, the majority, who disagree with Rabbi Yitzchak and hold that there are lashes even in the cases where there is liability for karet, there's no proof that Rabbi Hanina ben Gamliel's colleagues disagree with him. The Mishnah can be understood as follows. In this case, Shabbat, the primary punishment for its intentional desecration is by human hands, and in that case, Yom Kippur, the primary punishment for its intentional desecration is karet, which is a punishment at the hand of heaven. If he was flogged, he is exempt from karet. So Rav Ada bar Hava says that Rav says the halacha is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Hananiah ben Gamliel, who ruled that lashes exempt the sinner from karet. Rav Yosef said, who ascended on high and came and said to you that one who is flogged is exempted from karet? This is not dependent upon the decision of the earthly court. Abaye said to Rav Yosef, but according to your reasoning, then with regard to that which Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi says, there are three matters that the earthly court implemented and the heavenly court agreed with. The same question applies. Who ascended on high and came and said to him that this is so? Rather, in arriving at Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi's conclusion, we homiletically interpret verses. Here too, with regard to lashes and karet, we homiletically interpret verses. With regard to the matter itself, Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi says there are three matters that the earthly court implemented and the heavenly court agreed with them, and these are they: reading the scroll of Esther on Purim, greeting another with the name of God, bringing the first tithe. To bring in the first tithe to the temple treasury in Jerusalem. From where is it derived that the heavenly court agreed with them? Okay, reading the scroll of Esther is derived from a verse, as it is written, the Jews confirmed, and they took upon themselves. Esther 9:27. The verse could have simply said, they took upon themselves. From the formulation of the verse, it is interpreted, they confirmed above in heaven, in which they took upon themselves below. The greeting another with the name of God is derived from a verse, as it is written, and presently Boaz came from Bethlehem and said to the harvesters, the Lord is with you. And they said to him, may the Lord bless you. Ruth 2, verse 4. And it states, and the angel of the Lord appeared to him and said to him, the Lord is with you, mighty man of valor. Judges 6:12. The Gemara asks, what is the reason that the Gemara cites the additional source about Gideon, introduced with the phrase, and it states, why was the proof from Boaz's statement to the harvesters insufficient? The Gemara explains, and if you say it is Boaz who did so on his own, and from heaven they did not agree with him, come and hear proof, as it says, the Lord is with you, mighty man of valor. The angel greeted Gideon with the name of God, indicating that there is an agreement in heaven that this is an acceptable form of greeting. From where is it derived that the heavenly court agreed to the bringing of the first tithe to the temple in Jerusalem? temple treasury in Jerusalem is derived from a verse, as it is written, "Bring you the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house, and try me now with this, says the Lord of hosts. If I will not open for you the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing, that there shall be more than sufficiency." Ad beli dai. Malachi 3:10. This indicates that the heavenly court agreed that the first tithe should be brought into the temple treasury. The Gemara asks, what is the meaning of ad beli dai? Ramai Bar Rav says, it means that the abundance will be so great that your lips will be worn out, or yivlu, from the saying of dai. The Gemara cites a somewhat similar statement. Rabbi Elazar says, in 3 places the divine spirit appeared before all who affirm that the action taken was appropriate. In the court of Shem, in the court of Shmuel HaRamathite, and in the court of Solomon. The Gemara elaborates. This occurred in the court of Shem, as it is written in the context of the episode of Judah and Tamar. And Judah acknowledged them and said, "She is more righteous than I." Mimeni. Genesis 38:26. How did Judah know that Tamar's assertion that she was bearing his child was correct? Perhaps just as he went to her and hired her as a prostitute, another person went to her and hired her as well, and he is not the father. Rather, a divine voice emerged and said, "It is from me, mimeni, that these secrets emerged." God affirmed that her assertion was correct, and it was his divine plan that Judah would father a child from Tamar. So likewise, this occurred in the court of Shemuel, as it is written, "Here I am, testify against me before the Lord and before his anointed. Whose ox have I taken?" And they said, "You have neither defrauded us nor oppressed us." And he said to them, "The Lord is witness against you, and his anointed is witness this day that you have not found anything in my hand." And he said, "He is witness." 1 Samuel 12:3-5. Based on the context, instead of the singular, and he said the plural. And they said should have been written, as the verse appears to be of the reply of the Jewish people to Shmuel's challenge, attesting to the truth of his statement. Rather, a divine voice emerged and said, "I, God, am witness to this matter." This occurred in the court of Shlomo, when the divine spirit appeared in dispute between 2 prostitutes over who was the mother of the surviving child. As it is written, and the king answered and said, "Give her the living child, and do not slay him. She is his mother." 1 Kings 3:27. How did Shlomo know that she was the mother? Perhaps she was devious and was not the mother of the surviving child at all. Rather, a divine voice emerged and said, "She is his mother." Rava said, "From where do we draw these conclusions? None of these proofs is absolute. Perhaps in the case of Judah, once he calculated the passage of the months and the days from when he engaged in intercourse with Tamar, and it happened to correspond with the duration of her pregnancy, he realized that her assertion is correct. There's no room to suspect that another man was the father, as the principle is. Based on that which we see, we establish presumptive status. Based on that which we do not see, we do not establish presumptive status." Okay, with regard to Shmuel, too, no proof may be cited from the verse of the singular, from the use of the singular, as on occasion the entire Jewish people was referred to in the singular. Based on that which we do not see, we do not establish presumptive status. With regard to Shmuel, too, no proof may be cited from the use of the singular, as on occasion the entire Jewish people was referred to in the singular, as it is written, "The Jewish people was saved by the Lord." Isaiah 45:17. With regard to Solomon, too, perhaps he reasoned that due to the fact that this woman is merciful and seeks to spare the baby, and this woman is not merciful, it is evident that the former is mother. Rather, Rava concludes there is no proof from the verses that a divine spirit appeared in the circumstances. Rather, there is a tradition that this is the case. So Rabbi Simlai taught there were 613 mitzvot stated to Moses in the Torah, consisting of 365 prohibitions corresponding to the number of days in the solar year, and 248 positive mitzvot corresponding to the number of a person's limbs. Rav Hamnuna said, What is the verse that alludes to this? It is written, "Moshe commanded to us the Torah, an inheritance of the congregation of Yaakov," Deuteronomy 34, verse 4. The word Torah, in terms of its numerical value, or gematriot, and that is the end of Daf 23. But I'll tell you, it is 611. Thanks for watching.